It's Matcha morning in the afternoon. So we're kind of getting later and later and later. Although today we have a very good excuse because I had to go downtown and do a bunch of errands and things before our morning matcha. So kind of interesting. I had a fascinating experience going into Bancroft today. I had made a phone call because I could not find my old chainsawing boots, safety boots. And I really didn't want to use the big chainsaw, especially without some really good boots to prevent accidents. And I called up a few places, narrowed down a place. It seemed like they had probably what I wanted. And I drove down, I called them, talked to them. They had a bunch of different sizes. And they're not cheap. Like for a good pair of chainsaw boots, they're over $200. A cheap pair, maybe $150, but then why have them? So I narrowed down a place, drove down there, and went to the door. And this is quite common. People meet at the door, and you can't go in, or maybe you can't go in until there's a minimum amount of people in the store or whatever. So I'm sort of waiting to find out how this place worked. The guy was talking to someone else outside, so maybe the guy he was talking to was the next one in line or something, I don't know. And the one guy left and the other guy was there and he said, "Yeah, can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I called about the chainsaw boots." He says, "Oh, okay, yeah. What size do you want?" And I said, "Well, I don't know for sure because every type of boot fits a little differently, so I really want to make sure, especially with expensive boots like this, and the type of work I'm going to be doing with them, winter and summer. Chainsawing, I want to make sure that they fit really well." "Oh, sorry, can't do that." I said, "Can I buy them and take them home, and if they don't fit, then bring them back?" "Nope, can't do it. It has to be a straight sale, no returns." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you will have contaminated them." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Could I put a plastic bag in my..." Made me think of back when I was a kid, and you get a soaker, stepping in a puddle or something in your big Wellington boots, and you'd pull your, squeeze out your sock, and then you'd put a plastic bag in so that the wet boot didn't make your new sock wet again. And I said, "Can I put a plastic bag over my foot just so it doesn't contaminate the boot? I'll wear rubber gloves." Actually, I said I have some gloves in the car, some nitrile gloves. I'll put on gloves, I'll wear plastic bags over my feet and stuff. I just want to be sure with such expensive boots that they're going to fit. And he says, "No, can't do it." And I started to get a little annoyed and said, "Are you, like, this is an actual rule that says you are not allowed to try on boots in a store?" And he says, "Yep, it's the rules. Don't make the rules. Not my choice. Not my thing." He says, "You're not hearing me. You're not. He kept on saying, 'You're not hearing me.'" So I thought, well, not worth arguing with this guy. He's clearly very. Oh yeah, he said to me, he said, "So do you think this is not real? Do you think this is fake?" Like he was, giving me shit. And I said, "No, I think it's real." I said, "But no one in flu season has ever told me I couldn't try on a pair of boots before. And at least so far, more people have died from the flu." I said, "I respect all the distancing and stuff, and I wash my hands, and I mean, no one even wants to get the flu, really. It's not fun. I haven't had the flu for 5 years, but I remember the flu very well, and I'm a pathetic, sick person. Like I moan and groan and ache and trudge around and complain about stuff. So I know about how horrible it is, and I'm sure I don't get it as bad as some. But anyway, so we had a little exchange, and then I left, and I was a bit frustrated because I have to do some chainsawing, and frankly, to go chainsawing without boots and that risk to your lives, which is a greater health risk? That you are chainsawing without boots, or that you touched a pair of boots? He said, "Oh, I don't know where you've been." I said, "Yeah, I've been out in the bush." And so anyways, I thought that I would follow up on this because I'm just curious. Because I went to a few other stores around, and each store different vibe each person. Some people were kind of laid back, and therefore the way they worked was a little bit more laid back, and the laid back ones were more apt to have a conversation with you about things, and share their ideas and points and things and listen to yours. And then of course there was Canadian Tire. Oh my God, the Canadian Tire experience. I walked in because it was only a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I went in during this whole thing, and you had to walk through carefully and stay away from people and stuff. So I went in, and the door opened. It had a big sign saying Girl Guide cookies, $5 a box and stuff. And I went in there and started walking through, and then one lady goes, "Hey, are you a customer?" And I said, "Yeah." Isn't that what you want, customers? But anyways, she says, "Oh, you are not allowed in here." And she was like really animated and freaked out, like I had intruded or something. And she's like, "Don't you read the signs? Don't you read the signs?" And then two other ladies jumped in with her. It reminded me of once when I was in Jamaica and I almost got lynched because I had let someone do a couple of these little braids in my hair, and then they wanted $20 each, US each braid. And I was like, "Okay, hold on, you just did 12. But it was kind of like that. And I said, I didn't see a sign. And I said, "But don't worry, I'll leave. How do I buy anything?" And she said, "Well, you have to go online and make an order." And I said, "Well, I don't have a computer." It kind of strikes the truth a bit, but some people don't have computers. And I thought, well, what if you don't have a computer? There must be another way. Can I phone and make my order that way? She said, "No, you can't phone. You don't have a computer. That's just too bad. You're just tough out of luck. Go speak to Mr. Ford." And she said it in that way. As she's closing the door on me, as like I'm a rabid dog or something, like there was an actual fear in her eyes. And I wasn't freaking out or anything. I was just calmly saying, can I just find out how I can order my sandpaper for my door project that I'm working on. I didn't tell her what I was working on, but I said, "I just want to order some sandpaper." I said, I could pay cash. Whoa, that was the wrong word. I said, "Okay, I'll pay with my bank card, whatever." She says, "No, you can only pay online. You cannot pay here. You can only pay online." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" She says, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." And I swear she wanted to say something nasty to me. Like she had this look on her face like I was some monster thing that was turning her world upside down by asking questions. Like, how dare you ask questions?
It was like you being in a bad acid trip.
It was really odd. I went to another place, and it was a butcher shop, and they're really cool. Yeah. They're really awesome.
They're the York River Meats.
Yeah, York River Meats. Leanne and Chuck and two daughters, awesome girls, and they're intelligent. They think for themselves. They're fun. They're creative. They know how to survive in the bush, like that kind of thing. They can use a chainsaw. They can they can butcher a deer in the bush. They know how to survive, and they know how to think. Whereas I'll tell you, those Canadian Tire ladies, they were freaked. And the guy at the place where I want to get the chainsaw boots, he was freaked. I didn't realize it. And I said to Leanne at the butcher shop, I said, "I thought that out here in the bush kind of thing that people would be a bit more laid back." And she said, "Oh, a lot of us are, for sure. A lot of us are. It's just a small handful of people. And I don't know, maybe they're imports or something." But I'm starting to... maybe I was just home too often and I didn't notice these things. But although I went up to Barry's Bay the other day, and I went to Home Hardware, and they were phenomenal. You couldn't go in the store. You in person made your order or on phone.
But that's Barry's Bay.
But they give you a variety of options. Yeah. They were wonderful. I had a great chat with them. It was really, really good. I went to the Metro at Barry's Bay. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing. You could actually walk through the grocery store. It's a small enough grocery store where you don't even have the arrows, which is really nice. And everyone respects each other's distance and things. Like, we're human beings, we're adults. We can most of us are pretty sensitive and sensible. But anyway, so that was my Barry's Bay experience the other day, and this was my Bancroft experience today. Oh my gosh, was that ever bizarre. But anyway, so I thought when I got home, because I really want to find out about this, so Doug Sloan is the MP for this area. And so I found his phone number and I called, and it was 10 to 5, so it makes sense. They probably left for the day, or like a lot of people would be like, it's 10 to 5, I'm not answering now. It could be a long phone call. So I left a message, and I'll probably get called back on Monday. But I said to him, I wanted to buy a pair of chainsaw boots, so that I'm safe in the bush. And the guy said he had them, and he never said, oh, just a word of warning, you're not going to be able to try them on. Didn't say a word like that. And I went down there and da-da-da-da. So that's what I said to him on the phone, left a message. And I'm hoping to get a phone call on Monday. So I'll let you guys know how that pans out, because I'm just really curious about the detail that I couldn't try on a pair of boots.
Well, it's retarded because they have studies now that show that ultraviolet light will disinfect COVID-19 in like minutes, if perhaps even seconds. So it's really quick. And that should be incorporated now. If they're so fucking paranoid about it, then they should have these ultraviolet light devices that they could put, disinfect shoes, so people can try on shoes. And like what, you can't try on clothing, like, I mean, everything that we had taken for granted, that how you shop, you can't do it anymore. Well, how are you supposed to walk in a shoe? Like, shoes are so fussy, like people's feet, you can't fuck around with that. You want to be comfortable. There's nothing worse than an ill-fitting pair of shoes.
But even worse if you're out in the bush day after day, hour after hour, winter or summer, with a pair of boots on. Ideally you want to be wearing sandals or shoes or whatever, but you have to wear those boots because of safety. The last thing you want is something that's rubbing a blister on your foot or cutting the circulation. That would be more dangerous than anything else, because then it's going to distract you while you're chainsawing. You might trip, you might whatever. And at least you'd get tired quicker.
It's just the level of fear in people is.
I was really, really shocked. I felt like I was a stranger in a strange land. And
well, we'll see what tomorrow's going to be like in Toronto.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, what I just said is less of a complaint and more of a surprise and curiosity, which is why I called my MP, because I just want to know the details. Because one store will let you try on their boots, another store won't let you try on their boots. And I think I would have felt much better if he had said, look, it's up to me whether I want you to try on the boots, and I just don't feel good about it. And that, to just speak your truth, I respect that. And I said, okay, that's your thing. But he said to me, no, this is the rules across the board. No one's allowed to. And maybe he's right. And that's why I want to find out.
But even if that's the case, it's just...
I'm just asking you, Ray, do you not find there's an inconsistency?
Yeah, everybody's got something
everything
different.
And supposedly each one of the things is a law. And maybe it is. So why are the laws contradicting?
The whole thing is a contradiction.
Sure.
And what is... I mean, it's a law. This is bullshit. Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole COVID-19 crap.
Oh, I refuse to say that term anymore.
Just like,
that's what I was saying to some of the people at the store. I said, I will not repeat that term because it's like a magic saying. And the more you say it, the more you build this power into it, instill it. I know, seriously. I've read a lot of stuff on this psychology. It's like Starbucks, they have their logo. Everyone carries that cup around. I mean, it's advertising.
It's also a neurolinguistic program.
It's programmed into you. So every time you go onto YouTube, and first I thought it was every video that had to do with CV. Then I found out as I would go on to things, it doesn't matter if I look up buttercups, it still gives you a CV warning.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you warning me or are you programming me? Yeah. That's what I wonder. When I'm looking at buttercups, why do I need to know about CV? Is a buttercup going to spread something to me? I don't know.
You got all those bots and shit now that are all over.
Yeah.
It's actually quite. It's definitely in your face.
It is very in your face. I just want to live in the bush and forget that I'm a human. Maybe I
just
can
want to
become
live
a
in the
centaur or
sun.
something. I just want to be maybe like a half human, half
No,
animal
I'm
or
not
something.
pretending. They're already doing that shit.
No, not by GMO. I mean by just being. I'll be a little centaur or something. Do you think they had GMOs back in the ancient
Who
Greek
the
myths?
fuck knows?
Maybe they did. I don't
Maybe
know.
Atlantis was like one of these fucked up societies.
So maybe all those
Technocratic,
characters in Greek mythology
techno-fascist,
were actually genetically
whatever.
modified.
We're just doing this
Wouldn't
kind
that
of
be weird?
repeat, like right
Wouldn't that be
now,
weird?
just like this like burp that's coming up, this ancient burp.
So it's kind of like repeating itself,
Yeah.
which is what a burp is, right?
Yeah,
Repeating.
repeat. You know, and here we are. People, if it's happening, the bifurcation is happening. You're going to have the technocracy, the technocratic, fascist cities, and then you're going to have other areas.
The
that
way
are
I
rebuilt.
look at it,
That's
Ray,
crazy. I don't know, and it's good, maybe different in different countries. I don't have high hopes for Canada, I'll tell you that much. But we'll see. I pay very close attention to what our American neighbors are doing. So we shall see what happens in the month of May. It'll be a very interesting month. And happy May Day, everyone. Happy May Day. And let's keep a very positive outlook. Stand your ground, know your stuff. Listen to your gut, listen to your heart. Be kind and compassionate as much as you can. It's not easy because a lot of people are triggered, and people are in different places in their own process. I noticed a post this morning from one of our close friends, Jim, and he was talking about how the feeling that he was feeling at the time was grief over the loss of our freedoms. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm not there. I'm not at grief because I'm still too fucking angry, and I'm fighting. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to meet up with some friends. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I wanted to do it closer to home, so it wouldn't have to travel quite as far. But I couldn't find someone to meet up with. People are so complacent now. They're just like little homebodies. So anyway, I did end up making arrangements with my friend Guy Crittenden and his troop. So I look forward to meeting up with them at Queen's Park tomorrow, and we'll see where it goes. That I just consider part of my mission here is to speak my truth and fight for what I believe in, not allow the things that absolutely I do not resonate with on any level to continue. And there's all kinds of things. I'm not going to get into all of them right now. But definitely I have no interest in a 5G fascist technocracy. I'm not interested in that. I want to live in that. I certainly don't want to energetically marinate in that either. And so I'm taking action to stop it from coming into this area. And it is slated for Bancroft. I'm not so sure about Barry's Bay. I'm going to find out. Hopefully not, but you know what? People have to say no. That's the only way. Otherwise, they'll just take over everything. And
see, I don't care about 5G if it was something that if someone wants it, it doesn't affect anyone else. Like a vaccine, for example. If someone wants a vaccine, it's not going to screw me up, as far as I know. I hope. But generally speaking, but if someone wants 5G and then it affects everyone, it's kind of like, I don't know, if you moved out into the country and your next door neighbor was really into dirt biking, and I hope I don't offend anyone that is into dirt biking. I'm not anti-dirt biking. It's just if you moved out there to, say, bird watching or something, and you go out to do bird watching, and this neighbor's kid is just whipping around, tearing up the turf and loud noise, you can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
They're having fun, but it's affecting you. And that's the way that the 5G thing in that respect. Whereas, you know what? You want your vaccination, go for it. Just don't force it on me.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
You
want to wear your mask? Go for it. I don't care, but do not oblige that I have to wear one.
Yeah.
I will not.
Well, I've never had the flu vaccine, and I've had the flu. Well, I haven't had the flu for 5 years, and before that, I had it once or twice. But I'll tell you, family members, won't mention any names, although I only have a few of them, so they have the flu way more than I do, and they all get the flu
I
shots.
think the flu shots make you more vulnerable. I've never had a flu shot, never will. Last time I had the flu was in 2011, but I was also had to get surgery for a brain tumor too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my most ill health at
Yeah.
that time, leading up to 2011. But since then, I've been good. I've been great. I feel great, and I've been getting stronger, and my cognitive function has been improving over time. So, yeah, to each their own. We really can't go into that place of judgment because every person is exactly where they are at and who they are at in this moment based on decisions that they've made up to date and decisions that they will continue to make. We all have that. We create our reality as we go. We do that more than we realize. That's why it's really important to think, be mindful of what you're thinking. And be mindful of what you're saying, and especially your internal chatter. Very, very important.
It's interesting. I got into that conversation with Leanne and her daughter about your thoughts creating your reality, and they said, how do you feel about that? And I said, well, I don't think it's as simplified as the Hicks type of approach. What's it called? The term they have a catchphrase, but I said, yes, I do believe we create our own reality. I said, but I don't think it's as simple as change this chair to purple. If I'm powerful enough, I can make it change. I don't think it's like that. I feel it's a misunderstanding of the concept, and not that I fully understand it either. I think it's way more complex than that. But yes, I do think that we, as a whole society, do energetically contribute both in the obvious ways of giving your consent, but in other ways as well, that create a kind of a polarized force that moves in one direction or another, or in a scattered direction depending. I definitely can affect my state of mind with my thoughts. There's one instantly, pretty well.
And your emotions, and you can also affect others around you if you're projecting a broadcast.
Well, who's ever been in a bad mood and they're walking down in the city, just feeling really off, and someone gives a genuine smile and says hi, and it just warms you up. Sometimes it irritates the shit out of you, but no, it just warms you up, and it was just a simple thing. You didn't know the person, they didn't know you. And you just felt a little bit better.
But also the opposite too. Like if someone's very toxic and they come into a perfectly harmonious environment, they can, in a sense, contaminate.
Well, those women at the Canadian Tire, I thought, do I look scary or unkept or
Their
something?
fear, right?
Kind of a street person-y type. Like I was being treated the way some people, not everyone, but way some people might treat a street person, where they kind of walk away around them or something. Like I felt actually like I was diseased. And I've seen many movies in the past, I can't think of any right now, where that kind of thing happens, and you're looking at a movie and you go, wow, that's a movie. But I was actually in it.
But you have to be mindful not to energetically take on other people's projections.
Well, I do my best.
People are very
I'm
triggered right now, so you have to understand that, and especially empaths, because we have this kind of almost automatic reflex to process other people's stuff. And it's like, no. You stay grounded and stay in your own body, in your own self, and just be mindful not to take stuff from others.
Anyone got an extra pair of chainsaw boots? Just curious.
Yeah.
So my chainsawing will be delayed. Oh, and my sandpapering the church doors is delayed as well because they wouldn't sell me sandpaper.
And I'm going to go away for a few days, so I won't be bringing any back until Monday or Tuesday. So the door has now, unfortunately, we didn't even get a start on it because of this incident. But anyway, you still have the polar bear skull that continue to do work on that until I return home with some sandpaper and
I'm lucky that you bought my little ventilator mask back before all this, because it was when this all started that I just happened to have thought, well, I better get a couple of extra little filters for the mask, and I looked it up and on Amazon, and they were sold out. And then it was like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
And
sold out, and hold on. And I looked everywhere, every company possible on the internet, and they all said we are backlogged, you know, due to whatever, they've taken everything. Although one cool thing I found out, because I was looking just to see out of curiosity if they had filters that would be approved for CV and anything similar to that, and I think they called it a level 2 in the company who made these masks, and it just happened that the filters that I have in it are level 2. So I actually have a mask with a ventilator with little filters in it that are good for CV. So that was kind of neat. But you know, maybe I should be wearing it walking through the forest or something, because I read it. These things can slip from human to animal, animal to human, and sometimes those chipmunks do get a little close.
monkey business.
That monkey meme you put online was just
That was that was my porn damage.
That guy deserves to get CV. No, just joking. Just joking. He would get something else, some kind of venereal disease, I think.
I think the monkey was very bold in that photo.
That's what monkeys do. Monkeys want their dicks in
Oh
everything.
God, yeah.
Any interaction with monkeys I've ever had. Look at back when you were traveling with Destiny, your daughter, as a child. That monkey jumped on her head.
Oh, I know.
And what was it doing to her head?
He was humping her
Humping
head.
her
Yes,
head.
it was
And
horrifying.
you can guarantee his little willy was out as well.
Oh, I don't even
You
want to
just
think
didn't
about
see it.
No.
You know, this one just happened to have a slightly bigger willy, so you could see it. But I'm amazed that guy had no clue that thing touching his mouth
I'm
was
sure he does
a
now.
monkey willy. Oh. My gosh.
I think we've had enough fun with Batman. Yeah.
Well, everybody, I just we didn't have as much to talk about today, so we ended up just talking about whatever.
Well, we had hoped that we would be talking about the
About my doors,
and
yeah.
having done stuff that.
I wanted my chainsaw
See,
boots and my
sometimes
sandpaper.
you cannot predict these things and what arises. You just deal with it as it arises, and hopefully see the humor in it as well. Because we better not lose our sense of humor, guys. I know it's hard sometimes, and I know I fall for but you know when you're in position. You know when you're in a good place. You know what it feels like in your body.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I feel it in my body, and so therefore I also know when I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
So just find the way that you can actually embody the state of being that you wish to embody. Okay, just remember. That's a process of remembering. Yes.
Yeah. And also remember, this whole thing is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there is it's like displacement, right? You put a rock into water and some water pours out. Like you're going to have the fallout. You're going to have the stuff that you're not crazy about, and there's plenty I'm not crazy about. But there's always a gift in it. There's always something, if you're paying attention, and if you're, like Raven was saying, letting go, getting into your feelings, using this as a processing tool, to like a magnifying glass to look into yourself, and others as mirrors too. Like there's a lot of information everywhere. Like everything that I experienced today in Bancroft, if I don't get frustrated with it, it's information. There's so much information there that I can revisit 20 years from now, and it will give me little clues about things and about humanity, about how people work, how quickly people can get whatever freaked out and things over stuff, like, and in just like that, out of nowhere, and how media can so intentionally or not intentionally, like, just, do you remember back in public school when we do that game where you'd have like, I don't know, the whole class, maybe 15 people or 20 people in a row, and the teacher would give the first kid a word,
Telephone.
and she'd pass it on to the next
that
and pass it on to the
telephone?
next,
Yeah.
right? And so there was no intention
Yeah.
of distorting information. So even if the media did not try, even if there was no corruption at all in the world, things would still get some reasonable amount of distortion. It's just going to happen. So even if the world was absolutely squeaky, shiny clean, there's going to still be some stuff that you've got to be on top of to make sure that information doesn't get distorted and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're at 30 minutes and 35 seconds. I think, unless you have anything else to say, we could probably say
No.
Adios for today.
Adios
and,
for today, and I guess unless you're gonna do some
do it on
weird
my own.
stuff on your own,
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Yeah, I won't be back until Tuesday night, I think.
Oh, we could try one thing just to see if it works.
What's that?
We'll do a phone thing where I'm sitting here with,
Oh yeah,
you know,
we
and
could
there's
try
a little
a
square in the
a
corner
Zoom
of you.
thing.
Just see if it works. If it doesn't,
okay.
I apologize right away if we try this and it doesn't work. You already know we're gonna just try it, just see, you know, so it won't be that important, but just something to just see how it goes, because we're kind of
Yeah.
not good at that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Ciao for now.
Bye guys. Hopefully you have a very, very, very good day.